let this recording start. Yeah, can you share it again? Okay. When to go for Scrum and when to go for Kanban. So what you can tell is that whenever you have a time boxed activity, whenever you have a sprint goal, see, for example, you can go for Scrum if it is more of a homogeneous backlog. What I actually meant is you need to take a look into the work item types first. For example, how much percentage is the user story? How much percentage is the defects? Then the change request, incident and the support tickets, and compliance and the maintenance activities. So if it is a heterogeneous backlog, means different work item types, then probably Kanban could be a better framework, because Kanban says you can set process policies explicitly for a different work item types, which is actually point number one. Point number two is whenever there is a higher churn rate of a requirements. Okay, say for a example, the particular requirements are keep on changing that you can't even wait for no 2 to 3 weeks, then probably Kanban could be a better one, because Kanban is actually based on an item based flow, whereas if you take a Scrum as a framework, it is a batch based flow. All the stories piled up in a single container called a sprint, and every sprint comes with a goal. So you need to see the work item types and the volatility of the requirements and then take a call. So, so any questions you have?
Well, my thinking was when the items are more planned, more than 70%, use Scrum, and when they're less than 30% planned, you use Kanban.
Yeah, that is from the, okay, but that is from the static workshop, systems thinking approach to introducing Kanban, where we can go. But from an interview point of view, it will be better if you give a detailed answer, right?
Okay.
Yeah, correct. Fully agreed. More than 70 percentage, if you feel that you can go for a Scrum, if it is a plan-based approach. But then on what basis you will tell that? For that only we are saying that based on the volatility of the requirements and based on the combination of different work item types, I can decide whether it is a sprint or a Kanban.
Okay. Thank you.
See, now one more thing what we need to keep in mind is from a practical implementation point of view, already the client would have decided a framework, because by the time you are getting inside a project or a product ecosystem and then start doing the things, the framework has been by and large already decided. But how do you play the game well within the constraints, leveraging the existing framework is what your real capability.
What do you mean by leveraging the existing framework?
Leveraging means already if they would have practiced some Scrum, practiced some Kanban, and in their team charter working agreement, everything would have called out, okay, how to run the show. First, you need see before you suggest something, you need to know what is there in the first place, right? Only then you can
Yes.
do a gap analysis. So first understand the landscape, what is the framework which is being used and how the things are moving over there. Then you can, based on your experience, you can do a gap analysis in terms of the improvement areas, and then you can come up with a suggestion. I cannot suggest something without having clarity on the existing one.
Okay.
Okay, fine. All right, let us go to the next one then.
So in real life, how would you say, okay, when I was at the client, I decided to use, when I was at an engagement, I decided to use Scrum over Kanban because of X, Y, and Z. And also, would you get a stage where you go to a client and they're insisting on using Scrum, but you know that Kanban is much better? How would you
See,
transpose to?
how we need to use it is not like directly I am actually jumping from Scrum to Kanban. I can still take some of the best practices from the Kanban, right, in terms of putting a WIP limit on a column. See,
Yeah.
though you are using Scrum as a framework, you can still leverage upon some of the best practices given by Kanban in terms of putting a WIP limit on the column and creating a class of services in terms of you see in the Kanban session we have already touched upon, right, the four types of class of services: fixed date, expedite, intangible, standard. So you can leverage some of the touch points from some other framework also.
Okay.
That's what I was trying to tell.
Thank you.
Okay. See, next one. Okay, in terms of this DevOps transformation canvas, in terms of portfolio canvas, value stream canvas, canvas is actually something which can be fitted into a A3 or a A4 sheet paper. So when we are taking a lean approach, in terms of agile, when you are taking a lean approach to your work or your processes or the nature of work, are you able to fit your portfolio in that particular size of a sheet? So for DevOps transformation canvas, portfolio canvas, value stream canvas, you can directly Google, take the image, and then you can read it.
Okay.
Okay, so you can take some pointers there if you want. Okay, just you can Google on it and click on the image, and then you will get a sample image. You can go through the image, and then you may need to try to visualize there. For example, if I'm going to create a transformation canvas for my portfolio or for the DevOps, on my existing delivery pipeline, what are all the different aspects or attributes which I need to capture? So Canvas is going to capture the attributes or dimensions or different parameters, and then you can put it in a A3, A4 kind of a sheet, and then present it for a further consideration. Maybe if you want, you can Google right away, right? Can you please go to Google and then type this DevOps transformation canvas? Had you typed DevOps?
No.
Because if you don't type, it may pick, it may not pick up the right one. You click on the image and then just expand it a bit. Means expand this means increase the font size of your screen. Control plus. Click on any of the images there. Yeah, just zoom it. Still. Okay. Enough. Now you can even take the second image or the first image. I think first image also is good.
This
So
one, okay.
Yeah. So if you see here, it will be fitted within a A3, A4 kind of a sheet. It's not like bulky documents, pages after pages. So now, okay, let us take this particular image. Now, what are we trying to do? We are trying to understand the different aspects of my CI/CD pipeline or my DevOps delivery pipeline in tune with these particular parameters. Once again, it is a team exercise because we cannot expect a single person to have answers to all these questions. So, as a team, we need to sit together with my DevOps consultant or the DevOps architect, and then try to fill section by section. For example, your business goals and all these aspects can come from the product owner, whereas drivers for a DevOps transformation, these things are what is the business context behind to set up a DevOps pipeline. Am I trying to address any pain point in the system, or am I trying to do a process improvement? So what is the context behind setting up the DevOps? So, and probably, like for example, these sections need to be filled with the different people. That's what I was trying to say.
Okay.
Okay, so you take some time to understand all these canvas and then read it together. Once you read it, DevOps, also look into value stream canvas, portfolio canvas, and then come back to me.
Okay.
You may need to visualize more now. For example, if you want to talk about your operational value stream, then you need to start visualizing an ecosystem where you have a development value stream and a operational value stream. If you have doubt, go back to the basics of the class what we had in the SAFe. Okay. Let us go to next one then. You directly jump to 16th question. ART readiness workshop.
Yeah.
See, these are all some of the workshops which we conduct. Which me as an agile coach or as an enterprise agile coach, we used to take this workshop for the RTEs, because at a train level, at an art level, it is my RTE who is going to own the train. And within a train, I may have multiple teams, right? A team of teams. So ART readiness workshop is going to talk more on in terms of my PI planning. What are the things which I need to take care of as an RTE, and also in terms of a ART sync up meeting. For example, in one train I have two teams, and in some other train I have two or three teams. So there actually should be a weekly cadence meeting which is going to sync up, right? Unless and until there is a program level cadence between the trains, we cannot expect communication and collaboration should be like, no. So we need to have some program level cadences, and how to do it, everything will be dealt over there in the workshop.
So that's readiness. Okay, because I remember
I have given you a template.
Aha, good. Thank you.
I have already given you a template for ART readiness workshop. Just open the template and then try to read it later. Okay, now let us go to 70. See, I just want to quickly cover 17, 18, 19 now. In terms of 17, no, it is lean portfolio management workshop. So what we can talk over here in terms of lean portfolio management is that how am I going to do dynamic budgeting? Do you remember? I also spoke to you on my customized agile framework, wherein we have our investment teams, and those investment teams will be funded based on the EBCM, Enterprise Business Capability Model. So dynamically, we will be funding the epic and the sub-epic, and the funded epics can only become part of my road mapping. So you can actually talk about that. So for example, if you take SAFe uses something called the strategic themes, which is going to connect my portfolio vision to the enterprise. But in my contextualized agile framework, we have used investment themes. Investment themes could be a combination of strategy together with the investment mix. Okay. Okay, can we go to the next one?
Yeah.
Okay, value stream mapping workshop. For this, you need to define the value stream first. Are you talking about a development value stream or a product value stream? Or are we talking about a customer value stream or an operational value stream? And then try to understand the flow efficiency of that particular value stream. What are the sequence of activities, end-to-end flow from a system thinking approach? And then you try to measure the active time and the total time. For example, active time divided by the total time into 100, it's going to give the flow efficiency in terms of a percentage. That is called, it's called value stream mapping.
The higher or lower it is, what does that mean?
Which one?
If the value stream mapping is higher or lower?
Based on the flow efficiency percentage, your flow efficiency should be higher.
Okay.
If you have a lower level of flow efficiency, maybe the system needs a lot of improvement in terms of removing or minimizing the impact of delays, defects, dependencies, impediments, all those things.
Okay.
That is why in our outcome based plan, we have already covered a lean out product value stream. Before that, you are identifying the waste. Lean out product value stream, also called as development value stream. Then lean out customer value stream, also called as operational value stream. Okay, so let us jump to the next one. Okay, and then if needed, I will paraphrase it. Program predictability measure report. See, this program predictability measure report can be viewed as at a program level as a combinational impact. How many features we planned, how many features we actually delivered. Because when you are talking at a program layer, it is a combination of multiple teams or a team of teams, right? Every team is going to contribute to their team level objective, and all the team level objectives are getting synthesized at a PI objective. So program predictability measure report will talk at that level, how many features we committed, delivered, how many enablers we have committed, deliver, and you will be having something called as a God band range. So within that range, we will be seeing, okay, if you want, can you quickly Google it now? I wrote an article on the LinkedIn also. With that also you can take some pointers. Okay, one more point to keep in mind. One more point to keep in mind is that this program predictability measure report can be used even to compare against your actual business value obtained and the planned business value. For example, at the beginning, we might have planned some business value, right? What is that particular business value and what is the actual delivered business value? Something like that also we can actually visualize it. I sent you a template, I do believe, for program predictability measure report.
Well, let me check. I don't think.
Yeah, you can check it, or else I can also check it. But you understood the concept of what is that we are trying to do there.
No, you haven't sent that for me yet.
Okay, fine. Then I will send it today. See, one more thing. If you click on that graph, in the x-axis we are putting the
This
programming. No. First one left. First one itself. Yeah, first one. Yeah, click on that. Can you right click and then open it in a new tab? No, simple. Then open that particular tab. Okay, now see, in the x-axis, you are putting the program increments. We are not putting the sprints. See, first of all, look into the x-axis and y-axis. Then let us understand the inner aspect of the graph. In x-axis, you are putting the program increments, PI 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In the y-axis, you are putting what? Program objectives achieved. So every PI has an objective, right? How am I achieving the PI objectives, right? Can you just zoom it a bit?
Yeah.
You have minimized it.
No, I thought I was going up.
You totally minimized it. You press Control plus, na? Hold the Control key and keep on pressing plus symbol.
My keyboard is not. Let me just.
Yeah. Still maximize how much it can comes. Okay, so across the PI, if I take across the PI, then how much of program objectives achieved? That is what this particular graph is going to tell, right?
Okay.
See, these things and all, you need to at least do it once, Martin. It will be very difficult if you have not even done it at least once. Then only you can resonate with it. You can understand it now, but it will be difficult if you just understand it. It's only half the journey.
Okay.
Okay, fine. 1 second, wait.